everyone, Pete from Abstract Ocean. If you've seen our other videos, you'll know that we have a animated dash strip, and what we're going to do here is going to install the same kind of thing but for the center console. So we'll link you to the dash strip video just so you can see what that's about. This is a complimentary product, but they operate independently, so you can have either or. So quick, what's in the box? This is kind of the controller. There's a QR code on here. You scan this for the app to download to your iPhone or Android. Obviously this plugs in, there's a light in here, so this plugs into the 12-volt accessory port just in here. That does have an on-off too, and then it's got two tails that powers each of the light strips that run down the edge. So that's that. This is the occupancy sensor. This just lives inside your center console, and it turns off the light strip after about 30 seconds of no movement or activity detected. Now, it's really good at what it does. If you spend all of your time sat in traffic jams, very still with no music or something, then it may think that there's no one in the car, because it works off a bunch of factors, but mostly movement and noise. So in which case you may want to just kind of manually turn it off and on. But for 95% of people, this works just great. Works fine for us. Little trim pry tool, because it's going to go in there. And then just up here we have the two ultra bright, ultra thin LED dash strips, or LED strips, not going in dash this time. So what we're going to do first of all is just get this plugged in. Like so. We're going to leave it off for the time being. In fact, it might be off anyway because the car's been sat here for a while, so I think my auxiliary power is off. Take care of that in a minute, doesn't matter. And then we're going to take one of the strips. So quick anatomy, obviously it has power at this end, and then there's two edges to strip. We want the lit edge facing upwards, of course. So, and hopefully the camera will get this, but the wire just runs in this kind of little gap at the end of the aluminium trim here, so it's completely invisible, unless you have this open, of course. So first thing I'm going to do, I think, there we go. So a lot of this you can do by hand. So you can see I'm just kind of pushing that in. The light strip itself is quite rigid, which is good because it means it goes in pretty easily and very sort of consistently, if that makes sense. But it does mean that we can't turn this radius up here, so that's why the light strip ends here rather than going around the corner. We've tried lots of different ways, but it would just break it very, very quickly, so we obviously don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep going. Obviously at any time, if your trim is particularly tight for some reason, you can just kind of pull on it with your fingers, as you can see I'm doing there, or just use the pry tool to kind of help move things along. But as you can see, I may not need the pry tool at all. Okay, so actually I do just at the end here. So this is where it gets very tight, up the end here. So what I'm going to do is just pull this out just a little bit. I'm going to wedge this in, and then I'm going to deliberately kind of move it up to beyond where the strip's going to be, because then it opens up this nice gap, and just kind of really get it into the corner like that. Then that gives me enough space to kind of work with. Just get that out of the way very slightly. There we go. You can probably see why we didn't want to go around the corner. Okay, there we go. So now what I'm going to do, so it's in there, it's obviously not very even, so I'm going to just run my finger along it. What you want to do is make sure it's consistent with this trim piece. So you don't want, as you may be able to see, this is kind of sticking up a little bit. That's fine, but we're going to just make sure it's flush. You don't want to go too deep with it either though, because you sort of want the same consistent look. So when you're looking at it from the outside at an angle, you want to make sure that you can still see the effect. So I'm just going to run it along here like that. Like so. And you can feel it, so it's not, as you can see, most of this is just fingertip stuff. All right, let's do the other one. Just start tucking it in the back here and just work our way towards the front. go. This whole trim piece does come away if you want to. I mean, I don't know why you would really, but there's no need. But if you sort of pull on it too far, especially at this end, you'll feel it unclip. Just clip it back in, no big deal. Okay, so we're just at the awkward bit now. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just grab the pry tool, wedge it in, just sort of anywhere, and then we're going to work it into that corner, which will give us enough of a gap to get the end of the strip in. Move it around a bit more. Apologies if you can't see this on the camera, but I think you probably get the idea. There we go. Pop that out. Same thing, just going to run down here and just kind of with my fingertip, just make sure it's at the same height all the way down. Okay, next up, the occupancy sensor. So as I say, it's optional, but power in, power out. So if I just grab this real quick, so power in, like so, power out into the controller. And then the very last thing we need to do is connect in the light strips. There is a right and a wrong way. Just look for, I don't know if you can see this, but a couple of little notches on top. So we're just going to go in there. And we're going to go in there. Okay, so we're going to pop that out of the way for the time being. I'm going to power up the car. Yes, yes. All right, and there we go. So you can see it's turned on. I guess right now it's in a sound sensing mode. So if I just close this, this is how it looks. It goes to this little kind of first boot, and then it'll go to the default setting. What I'm going to do now is quickly grab a phone. I'll show you some of the features. We have a whole separate video that kind of goes through the features for the dash strip, and that is exactly the same for this as well. Okay, so hopefully you can see this on the camera. So I'm going to open up the app. It's called LED. Scanning, it's found it. So you can see if I just pick one of the colors, it'll just go to one of the static colors. I think I have some pre-programmed modes. One is just the, let me just open this up just so you can see it better. One is the rainbow, kind of the rolling rainbow. 29, kind of this cool blue strobe thing. I'm going to turn off the stage light real quick so you can better see it. There we go. If you can see that a little bit better. Just kind of rolling through the colors, sort of a Knight Rider kind of effect. So you get the idea. There's 210 different options, and then there's also a music option, or sorry, music option, so it senses sound. Now, because it's going on YouTube, I'll get a copyright ding if I play any music, but you can see if I just tap on it, if you're my age, then you'll remember graphic equalizers were totally cool. So that's what that does as well. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview. That's how you install it. Super easy. This is Pete from Abstract Ocean. Thank you for watching.